Welcome back to another episode of Live Life by Design. Thanks for being on the show, Mr. Jesús, el Señor Pollo,
Yes.
Ruiz.
Yes. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And tell us about your brand. I see you're rocking the hat right now. Tell us about Señor Pollo.
Yeah, so Señor Pollo is a chain of Mexican restaurants, a fast food chain. We already have 8 restaurants lined up, and we sell Sinaloa-style chicken.
Okay,
We'll
so
get
tell
into
me what Sinaloa. Sinaloa, by the way, is what?
Sinaloa is a northern state in Mexico.
Okay, northern state of Mexico. And what makes Sinaloan chicken Sinaloan?
Well, it got pretty popular there back in the 70s. It's a butterfly open. You cut it through the middle and you grill it. It's not a rotisserie, so you grill it wide open like a butterfly. And the Sinaloa style is the seasoning we put in it.
That's cool. So are you from Sinaloa originally?
No, I was born in Michoacán.
Okay.
But my dad's side of the family is from Sinaloa.
From Sinaloa. So the question is, I'm sure you met people from Sinaloa in Utah.
A lot, yeah.
Do they say, this reminds me of Sinaloa?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's not like these other brands where they pretend to be authentic.
No.
This is authentic Sinaloan chicken.
They actually say it's better than the one from
Oh.
Sinaloa. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who's they? Who's saying this?
The people that actually have tried it in Sinaloa. My parents are in Mexico.
Oh, so you okay, hold on. So what you're saying is you took your concept to Sinaloa and they tried it there and they said, yep, this checks the box. You can do it in the States, or how did that work?
No, the people that come to the States and try it, they actually say it's better than the one they eat in Mexico.
Okay, that's a good accolade.
My parents are retired and they're living in Mexico. They hate that they cannot find the chicken as good as mine. Yeah.
Wow, that's good. So you said how many stores? Did you say 9 stores?
So it's 8 stores
8
right
stores.
now, and we're about to open 2 more.
Okay. And then tell us where these stores are located and if you plan on expanding outside of the state.
Yeah, so we started with Ogden back in 2018. That was the first one. And from there, we went to Taylorsville, then Clinton, then it was West Valley.
And this is all Utah, by the way.
Yes, all Utah. And then we also have in Sugar House, Rose Park,
Salt Lake City, downtown.
Salt Lake. Yeah, and the new one we're opening, it'll be in Midvale. And hopefully by the end of the year, early next year, we'll go out of state for the first time to New York.
New York.
And
so
Long
you're going
Island.
from Utah to Long Island.
Yes.
Why Long Island? Why New York?
Because I am operating now as a franchise.
Okay. And
they bought a franchise to open in New York.
Okay, got it. So are your stores in Utah all corporate stores?
Not all of them. 2 are. I sold most of them as a franchise.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And only 2 are.
So is there a difference? I mean, I know there is, but I want to know your perception. The difference of corporate versus franchise. What's the main difference as far as operating and skill set of a company? Like what makes a company good at just not only doing corporate stores, but also allowing the brand to be a franchise? What's the difference there?
Well, corporate stores, you got to put in the team there to run it, first of all. When you sell a franchise, you check on them and everything, but basically they're on their own for a little bit and you're just checking up on them. But I don't know, it just depends on what you want to do, how you want to do it. In my case, I don't want to open as many corporate stores. I want to fully franchise. So, in my opinion, that's the way I can grow quicker.
You can scale it that way.
I can scale quicker that way. So, yeah.
Okay. Have you enjoyed the franchise piece of the business?
Yeah. When I started the first restaurant, I didn't know anything about business. I would know how to operate a business, but I didn't know what a business was. So that was a learning everything.
Did you read books about it?
No, not at that moment.
Yeah. So this is what a lot of entrepreneurs need to keep in mind is
Yes.
you can read about it.
Mm-hmm.
But the best education is
Being there.
being there and going about it.
Yeah.
We say this all the time on the show, but well done is way more powerful than well said. There's
Yeah.
not one book on this planet
Oh yeah.
that you can open up and say, this is exactly what I need to do. Business, it's a liberal art, it's not a science.
Yeah.
There's not one proven scientific method.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that come into effect, and it's artistry.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, and the same thing happened with franchising. I am learning that franchising is a whole different
It is.
ball game and a whole different
Yeah, that's why I was
business.
asking you, what's
Yeah.
the difference between corporate
So
and franchise?
so franchising is a whole. I'm not a restaurateur anymore. I'm a franchisor.
Yep.
And I got to learn now that game because
Yeah.
that's the route I want to take.
Yeah. Do you sometimes walk into these franchised out stores, open the door, and it's like, this isn't it. I don't feel it. Or are they doing a pretty good job for you?
No,
at repping the brand?
There are some times that I walk in and that's the hardest thing, maintaining the quality control and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's the toughest thing in franchising.
Yep. And then what's your vision as far as store count is concerned on the corporate arm and on the franchise arm?
I would vision Señor Pollo growing into more states. Once New York opens, and we really believe that can be very successful, just having one in New York can scale us to a lot more. Plus, selling franchises, we're looking into selling to more groups instead of just one
Individuals,
person.
yeah.
So I can see it scaling pretty quick.
Is New York a group or one solo?
One solo.
One solo.
Yes.
And is their theory to open up multiple units?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
'Cause you need that economy of scale, especially if you're all the way out there in New York.
No, he has plans to open more. Yeah.
Which is smart. And then what's his current occupation? Is he a restaurateur? Is he a business guy?
He's a restaurateur. He was actually, the way the franchise for New York was sold, he was training in a pizza place that he was gonna buy a franchise for. And then he just gave me a call like, why am I bringing pizza to New York? There's pizzas everywhere. I'm like, I gotta bring a new concept. So that's how
That's
got
cool.
sold.
So let me ask you this. Look, you opened up in 2018, COVID hit you. Talk to me about COVID in the food and beverage industry. Was it tough? Was it par for the course?
For me, the first couple of weeks it was super tough because nobody knew what was gonna happen. So
Super
everybody,
freaky.
it was stressful. I talked to my team. I told them, hey, I'll try to keep the team as much as possible. We don't know what's gonna happen, but once they let us operate even only takeouts, it just
How long were you shut down before you could do takeouts? Everything, was it 2 weeks total?
Yeah, no, it was
Or like nothing? I
It
can't
was
remember.
nothing. It was nothing. We didn't shut down.
It's the benefit of living in Utah. Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Some of these other states, you'd been shuttered for a year. You'd
For
probably
a
still be
while.
shuttered right now.
Probably.
In some of these crazy states that are out there.
Yeah, New York, Florida, California, they were tough.
Florida, they kept everything open.
They did?
Oh, yeah.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
But it was one, yeah.
Florida's like, let's rock and roll. California was tough. New York was tough.
New York was tough, yeah. But yeah, so COVID hit. First couple of weeks, we were freaked out a little bit, but then we had a boom. And why? I'll explain right now. In Mexico, my style of chicken, it's super popular, but it kind of got into the culture to go and buy a whole chicken or two whole chickens and bring it and eat it somewhere else. Usually in Mexico, people don't eat the chicken at the restaurant. It's a takeout thing. So, or you get a visitor and you didn't make food for her. Hey, get some chicken, something like that. It's deep into the culture.
So it was almost like perfect.
It was perfect for me. Yeah. So I decided to do some ads like four months before, the October before COVID hit, and I was running on TV in the Hispanic channel. And so this happened, culture-wise, perfect, and everybody saw it on TV. So I got a ton of calls.
There you go.
We grew.
You're
during
almost
COVID.
like training people how to behave, if you will, or how to like consume your product. And once they see that you're showing them how to do it, then they can adapt to that way, and it benefits obviously your business. It's interesting how marketing and that specific form of advertising can help shape that behavioral economics, if you will.
Yes.
That's crazy. Scariest time that you've had since 2018, since opening. What's a moment in your business where like, man, this is scary stuff,
well,
if any?
The first few months, I really wanted to throw in the towel. Tell you the truth, I went into Ogden. I'm on 12th Street in Washington, so it's a pretty busy corner. We opened in February 10th, and by March 1st, everything was broken in that corner.
Oh,
construction hit.
Yeah.
So it was the first 6 months. It was horrible. No sales. I had $250 days.
Oh my goodness,
$300 days.
Yeah.
It was just me and a friend of mine, and it was scary. That at that point it was scary. My wife would stay at home with the kids. My boy was 2.5, and my twin girls were 6 months. So, yeah, if she would have said, "Hey, I can't do this," I would have probably closed down.
Wow. So Señor Pollo was almost not a thing.
Almost not a thing.
And thank goodness you had that perseverance, that grit, that grind, that blood, that sweat, that years and tears to.
It was tough,
be here
definitely.
today.
It was tough. We used to live in South Jordan at that time. So it was an hour drive to Ogden. I would drive back, stop at the store to buy whatever I need for that day. That was insane. It was tiring and scary.
Let me ask you this, though. Would you have it any other way? Do you wish it would have been easier?
I wish I would have done it before I had the kids, because I sacrificed a lot of their childhood.
So what you're saying is you wish you would have done it sooner. Before the kiddos?
Yeah.
If you don't mind sharing, what are your kids' ages, if you don't mind sharing?
The boy is turning 10.
10. Okay.
Next month, and the twins are 7.
7. Twins.
Yeah.
So 3 total twins. Oof.
They're tough.
Te vino el combo.
Oh, yeah. And my boy is into sports, chill, super smart. The girls, they're smart and everything, but man, they have energy.
Really?
It's insane.
That's good.
Yeah.
And your wife works in the business, right?
Yeah, she helps out in the social media part and behind the scenes most of the time. Sometimes she goes into the store and
Yeah, because I've seen her at your Salt Lake location with you being there. That's really awesome. And I've tried their stuff. It's unreal. It's amazing stuff. We've DoorDashed it here. We've done takeout, the whole nine. So
yeah, nice.
Really great brand, really great product. And success couldn't happen to a better guy.
Yeah.
So you almost threw in the towel. You almost wish you would have done it sooner. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs say that. They say, I should have done it sooner. I should have thought bigger, faster, etc. What causes you to stick it out? What determined you to say, you know what, even though the road's under construction, even though we're only selling about $250 a day, it doesn't even begin to pay our daily cost. What kept you in that grit? What kept you in that grind?
It was probably the mentality I started getting into. I would literally listen to podcasts, audiobooks, videos, and YouTube on my
What's your
drives.
favorite podcast other than Live Life by Design?
I like How I Built This.
That's a good one?
That's a good one.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then what books are your go-to books when you're going through this kind of stuff?
I really like Millionaire Fastlane.
Okay.
Have you ever read it?
I don't know if I have. I don't know if I want to be in the millionaire fast lane. I want the slow and steady lane.
No, well, it just basically says that if you can accelerate
Okay.
the way of life.
Like a 10X type concept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
X factor your goals, etc., so that you have bigger movement, bigger
why wait
vision
till you're
instead
65 to retire if you can do it sooner? Yeah,
Okay,
that type of thing.
I like it. What keeps you up at night today? Back then it was, getting started. How do I get this business going? What keeps Jesus up at night? Either for excitement or for stress or a combination of the two.
Well, business-wise, I really want to scale. I want to go into different things that keeps me up, trying to think of how.
Okay, so hold on. You said things, something other than Señor Pollo?
Yes.
Can you disclose what that is?
Yeah, a few things like my salsas we use in the restaurant. I am bottling them now,
Okay.
and they're shelf stable, no preservatives. I really want to go into retail, to convenience stores like grocery stores and all of that.
That's cool.
That's one project I
Do
want to do.
you currently sell the sauces
I do.
at the restaurants?
Yes.
And are those sales pretty good?
Very good.
Really?
Yeah, people love it, especially the really hot one.
Really?
Yeah.
How hot is hot though?
Hot.
Hot, like
Hot, but good hot, not chemical hot.
is it gonna blow your face off hot?
If you don't like hot, yeah. If you don't like hot, yeah.
So what are the different levels of sauces that
So
you
we
sell?
have the salsa fresca. You probably tried.
Yeah, that was chill.
Yeah,
that one's easy.
That was mild. And we have a green roasted tomatillo salsa, super mild, very tasty,
Yep.
but no spice at all. And the roasted red tomatillo.
And what does it have a name?
Roasted red tomatillo.
Oh, you got to give it a name. You got to give it like, get ready for friggin' hell right now. This is so damn
maybe
hot.
later on we'll have to baptize it.
You got to brand it. You got to baptize that thing. So just when you do, just put my name in there somewhere for that inspiration.
There we go.
Okay, so excitement keeps you up, growth keeps you up, expansion with other verticals in your business keeps you up. What stresses do you go through as an entrepreneur, just to help the viewers and the listeners say, hey, Jesus is going through that. He has a successful business, but he goes through what I'm going through. And it gets normalized a little bit to know, hey, it's okay. It's not all going to be sunshine, rainbows, unicorns, etc. There's a lot of suck that comes with it. So what's the suck that you deal with?
Something that helped me out with all that stress was looking at the business as a business. When we start, well, at least in my opinion and in my business, I didn't know what a business was, first of all.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, that's where I'm going. So most people open up something small, a small business, a restaurant or whatever, and they're there all day long. And
they're basically opening up a job.
Yes.
They're saying, so I'm a business owner, but really I'm self-employed.
Yeah. So that's self-employment, and people don't view it as a business. Once you start viewing it as a business, I have this analogy that a business is like a human being, and it has 3 stages. So the baby stage,
sure,
you got to be there 24/7 or the baby dies. Sure. Literally, if you leave a baby, it will die. Same thing with business. The second phase is the teenage phase, which the teenager can watch on his own, eat on his own, but still the important decisions, you still have to make it. And the adult phase, well, an adult doesn't need the parent anymore. Same thing with the business. And once you understand what a business is, it relieves a lot of stress and you view things differently. And that's how I got out of the kitchen. I got out of the register and I started pushing towards selling franchises.
Yeah, because you have probably friends in the restaurant business.
Yes.
That are basically dancing bears, meaning if they're not on stage dancing and collecting a check, they're not monetizing.
Yeah.
So you figured out a way to say, I'm not going to be on the register. I'm not going to be in the kitchen. I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
I have to treat my business as such. So I don't just become entrapped into being self-employed or being a dancing bear.
Yep.
So when did you realize that? When did that aha moment hit you?
I would say after COVID, just being there. There was one year that I worked like 259 days of the year. And I'm like, nah, this needs to change. I got to have some balance in my life. My kids are growing. They're going to start doing different activities. And I just had to trust people, start delegating.
That's beautiful. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if you would have been entrenched in those 259, you said 259, right? Yeah. 259 days. There's no way you'd have, 8+ stores and Long Island opening up.
No, probably I'd be 1 or 2 at the most.
So remember, be cautious and don't always work inside your business. Make sure that you're working on the business. And I'm sure we've all heard that cliche before.
Yeah.
but it's a real thing. And if you're not disciplined enough to be able to do what Jesus just did, to pull yourself out, even the problem is you might think that, well, if I'm not there, it's all going to collapse.
Yeah.
Right. Just like you said with the teenager, you're not going to be able to be with them at every party.
Exactly.
In every classroom to see if they're paying attention and studying and doing the right thing or not. You kind of have to trust.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure that as you're trusting, things didn't go exactly the way that you wanted them to go.
Yeah.
So how do you come to terms saying, you know what, I for sure don't want to have to spend 259 days straight inside my stores. I know I'm delegating and leveraging and empowering other people. How do you create that headspace where you're allowing people to do that without you driving yourself crazy to go back into that self-employed mode?
I mean, we went through a lot of employees, and right now the team we have on most restaurants are very good people, very good workers, and very responsible. Once you find those key persons that will help you run it, it makes it a lot easier. But again, yeah, just like you said, you loved my chicken, and I didn't cook it. If I would have cooked it would have been a lot better.
Yeah,
and but it is what it is. It is what it is, and if it's not 100%, if it's 95,
hold on, I would have never tasted your chicken.
Yeah,
because we went golfing.
Yeah,
if you would have been in your store 259 days straight, you don't have time to golf.
Probably.
So I would have never been able to enjoy any chicken whatsoever. So props to you for figuring that out.
Thank you.
Now that when you're saying that, it reminds me, sorry, Dad, but I'm going to call you out. But when I'm mowing the lawn and my dad, I'm a teenager, and my dad doesn't like the way I'm doing the lines and whatever on the lawn, and he goes, "Dame acá, yo lo hago. I'll do it myself." And he takes over the lawnmower and finishes the job. So it just came to mind when you mentioned that you kind of have to just let go, because you could easily be tempted to go back into the kitchen and say, "Bro, you're doing it the wrong way." And you get in there and all of a sudden you're in there for 5-6 hours and you're not working on your expansion. So be disciplined with allowing yourself to, let go a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And even with like my general manager, she's very strict. And if they do something, and trying to train her to hey, chill a little bit. don't
chill out.
Yeah. Just act normal. Mistakes will happen, and it is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with I'm intrigued here. So the franchise piece, I mean, people can look up franchise fees, etc. But what's the standard setup when you're doing franchise, like rev share, profit, all that stuff? How does that usually work? And you can disclose whatever you want to disclose, or whatever you feel comfortable with.
Like
just structure, like economic structure. Is it as a franchisee, you pay the top co 5% of revenue? How does that all work?
Yeah, so there's a franchise fee like any other franchises out there.
Yep.
First of all, not everybody knows, but you have to have a franchise disclosure document.
Yep.
Or it's illegal to sell franchises.
Yep.
So, and I know businesses out there that are selling franchises and
without
don't have
the disclosures.
Yeah. So that's the first thing. Another thing, there's a franchise fee. That's the rights to use the name,
the brand, the marketing, etc.
Yeah, recipes, all that, and that varies. On mine is $35,000, and there is the royalty after that
per store, correct?
Per store, yeah.
Now, so let's say that I have 3 stores. Do I pay the 35 on each?
No, if you buy more than 3, it's cheaper.
But up to 3, it's that price, and then you give them a discount.
Yeah, like a territory.
Which is it's pretty normal.
Yeah, like a territory.
Yeah.
So it's that, and then the royalty, it's at 6% right now, and 1% goes directly to that store, and from the 5% we grab a little bit and do some marketing for everybody.
Yeah, which is very standard. So
it is.
I think it's good for the viewers and listeners to understand how the business works, because they're tuning in just to figure out all different aspects of business, life, etc. So I appreciate those details.
Yeah.
Are you worried about expanding so much that you lose a little bit of that culture, or do you have good systems in place where you can kind of go hard?
No, I am. I'm not scared, but I do think about it, that there is only so much potential that I know right now, that if I grow too quick, it might be not good. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to say bad, but it might get out of my hands with some things.
Sure.
But we'll see. We got some extra strategies pointed right now, and if we get to those points and the exit strategy doesn't work, then we have another one in place.
You have 26 letters in the alphabet. You got plan A, B, and C, and here we go from there. I think a lot of people say there's no plan B. Well, you're an idiot. Like, plan A ain't always going to work.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Definitely.
So I'm all about plan B, plan C, plan D. It doesn't mean that you're not going to stick to the plan at hand, but it's okay to change your plans. That's where business owners get in trouble. Is we're going to stick to what we already put out, because they want to almost prove themselves right because they're the author of that plan.
Exactly.
And they let ego get in the way.
Yep.
There's a reason there's freaking 26 letters in the alphabet. And if you need 27, 28, just go back to the beginning to A and go figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, the only constant in life and in business is change. You have to adapt.
Exactly.
You have to pivot. I mean, there's no way you could operate today the way that you did in 2018 during COVID. Like, it's always changing. People change, behavior change, your employee base changes, your strategy changes, cost change. Like, how often do you have to increase your prices to be able to take care of your COGS, your cost of goods sold? It's like an everyday target. Talk to us about that, because I'm in the food business too, and I had to change my pricing like on a weekly.
Oh yeah, especially post-COVID, when there was no foam containers, there were no cups, there were no lids.
And
it
people
was
don't
insane.
realize that. People get upset when the lines are long or when something's not perfect. But what the entrepreneur and the business owner is dealing on the back end, it's insanity. So, what, you didn't have cups? Tell us what else you didn't have.
Everything was running out. Gloves, we didn't have gloves. There was a point like, well, if the city comes in and tells us we have to use gloves, there's none. What do you want me to do? We're washing our hands.
Yeah.
But it got insane. Post-COVID, it got insane. And a box of gloves would cost over $100. And it was just, we had to adjust pricing and try to.
So for the gloves, was that the peak, $100?
Yeah.
What was it at a normal price?
Like right now, the box, it's like $32.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. 3 to almost 4x.
Yeah.
In price increase. What about your protein? Did that go up sky high?
Yeah. So let's say my whole chicken was like at 96 cents a pound, and it got like at $2. Right now, it's still high.
Double.
So
what is it now? What's the price now per pound?
172,
so
180.
it ticked down, but it's still sky high in comparison to when you first started.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if you don't increase your prices, you're SOL.
Oh yeah.
You got to make those changes.
And just mentioning, you increase your prices a little bit, and still people understand.
Yeah.
And most people, 1 out of 100 says, "Hey, did you increase?" While everything got up.
Yeah, I think
people
everybody understands it.
Yeah, people are understanding about that.
What are your thoughts on minimum wage? Like, the government trying to say, hey, it should be X amount of dollars. Do you agree with that? Or are you kind of, as an entrepreneur, are you more like, let me handle my business?
No, I'd rather handle my business.
Yeah.
Yeah, people deserve to make a little more than minimum. It's just hard to live. Here in Utah is very different, but you go to California, places like that.
You know, what's going to happen is they're going to shutter.
Yeah.
Or the robot or an AI is going to have to take over, because there's only so much margin that hits your bottom line. So listen, anytime, in my opinion, the government gets into your fiscal, into your balance sheet, into your P&L, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So I'm in the same opinion as you.
Yeah,
very strong opinion. I don't care. This is a nonpartisan statement, by the way. It doesn't matter which side of the aisle you lean to. Like, you can't create policy that will hinder the entrepreneurial spirit. You will kill the local economy, the middle market economy, and eventually you'll kill the macro economy.
Yes.
Okay. You were going to say something?
Can't remember what.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What's the culture that you strive for inside of Señor Pollo? What feeling do you want folks to have when they open that door and meet you for the first time? You meaning your enterprise. What's the culture?
Well, we want to, the Hispanic culture. You know that we're sometimes very, very touchy, very warm, very united. That feeling when you come in and somebody greets you, and that type of culture, a friendly, easygoing, inviting environment.
Now let me ask you this: is the majority of your client base Latino?
And most of the stores, yes.
And it's Mexican, I'm assuming, more than any other country, right?
Because there's more.
Yeah. Outside of Mexicanos, what would you say the next represented country would be, other than Puerto Ricans?
Right now,
Venezolano has to be,
probably
right?
Venezolanos
There's
right now. Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah.
Colombians love our food. There's a lot of Colombians, but probably Venezuelans right now. There's a lot more.
And then the way you eat your rice and beans is you eat your rice and over here your beans, right?
Yeah.
You got to do it the Caribbean, Puerto Rican way. You got to throw those beans on top of the rice. That's the way to consume that thing. That's a delicacy.
I saw you do that.
Yeah, every time. Arroz con pollo.
Yeah.
No es arroz con habichuelas por allá. It's
well, maybe we'll get a chicken bowl next, and then we'll just mix everything.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay, so when you're hiring people, what's important to you? I know that you want a very friendly, family-oriented culture.
Yes.
So when you're hiring, for those watching, what are some of your best practices? Because you can either have brand terrorists if you don't hire right, or you can have brand ambassadors. So what's your philosophy in the hiring process?
Just sitting down and talking to them for a little bit, just figuring out what kind of person you are. Just by talking, asking simple questions about their life, it gives you an idea of what kind of person that is.
What's your favorite question to ask?
If they're working, when can they start and why? So if they say I'm working but I can start tomorrow, if they don't give the other employer 2-week notice, and I don't want her because she'll leave with
he or she will do that to you.
The same thing. Yeah. So that's one of the final questions I
So let's say that you're loving the interview. You're like, this person would be awesome. And then you ask, hey, when can you start? How quickly? And they say tomorrow. Do you still take them? Or is that an ultimatum?
It depends. It depends on the feeling I get for that person. But if I do tell them, but why don't you give your other employer 2-week notice or give them some time to catch up? But again, you're in that business, and a lot of people don't even give 2-week notices. Yep. So regardless if you educate them in that subject or not, it's still gonna happen. So it depends. It depends,
and probably you're probably watching that person a little bit more. Maybe your speed of trust might go down a touch if they're not doing that 2 weeks. What do you view the turnover being right now, employee-wise, in the industry at large? Food and beverage, is it still a lot of turnover? Is it kind of coming down?
No, for my restaurants, there's people walking in, maybe 4 or 5 people a day.
A day to work. Wow.
It's insane.
What does that tell you? Because that wasn't the case, right?
No, it was. No, I wish it was. During COVID, it was tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, well.
I guess what are you seeing? What are you seeing with labor right now? Are you getting better talent? Are you getting obviously you're getting stickier talent? But what's going on? Like, why are so many people? I mean, 4 a day, 5 a day. Are you saying per store?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
So why do you think that is?
And it's mostly Hispanics.
Okay.
So I don't know if it has to do with immigration status or something, but yeah, I get a lot of traffic still. I don't know if you guys get the same traffic or not.
I don't know if we're getting 4 to 5 a day. That's remarkable.
It's
good
insane.
on you.
So applications. a whole bunch like
which is
this.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And with that, so you're getting more volume of applicants, or you're getting better quality.
Yeah, and plus I got very good employees, and they've been there for a long time. So if we do hire, it's like a part-time here, a part-time there.
You test them, and then if you like them, you go in full-time status, maybe.
Yeah, if there's an opportunity, yeah. But most people have been with me for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. Yeah, and in the Ogden store, there's people there
From day one.
Yeah.
Wow. They were there during the construction times when you're making $250 a day in sales, and they're still with you. That's cool.
Yeah, actually, the person that bought that franchise started with me, so I sold it to them.
Oh, cool.
To help them out at a cheap price.
That's awesome.
That way, I could get out of that first.
Can I get that same price?
Sure, let's do it.
What's your target for your AUV, your average unit volume? What would you like your store's revenue to be? On average? No, on a yearly.
A yearly?
$1 million?
Yeah, 750 to $1 million.
Okay.
Because my stores are small, and like I said, it's mostly takeout. Like my Taylorsville location has 7 tables. But
are they ever full?
Yeah, but mostly it's just people walking in, picking up, and leaving. A lot of family combos. We have the 1 whole chicken family combo, 8 pieces with some rice, beans, mac salad, tortillas, and salsa. And then we have the 2 whole chicken combos. You can feed 4 to 5 people with the 2 whole chicken combos.
And what's crazy is, it's probably about the same price as what you'd do if you made it all on your own,
So, probably, yeah.
You think it's less expensive even?
Well, time-wise, time is money.
Of course.
But yeah, so
isn't it crazy how tradition has changed, and more people are not doing the traditional dinners where, that could take you 2 hours to prepare a meal like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then the cleanup and everything else for like 15 minutes of gathering time.
Oh, yeah.
Like
and then
the return on time. Yeah.
And then you don't even talk to people at the table anymore because most people are on the phone. But yeah, like new generations, definitely they're moving out of traditional cooking at home, or we're doing that. They're not even walking up to the restaurants, and they're door dashing or stuff like that because they want everything quicker.
What portion of your business is DoorDash?
Small portions.
Small.
Yeah.
Do you use other?
Yeah, we do, but they're still smaller.
But DoorDash is the mainstay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
You mainly have foot traffic. They come in and take it via using DoorDash, etc.
Yes, but I still get more calls. Again, the Hispanic community, it's engraved into the culture that you call it in and just pick it up. I get a ton of calls. It's insane. Yeah.
They just call you, get it ready, let's go. That's cool. What advice would serve the viewers as they're entering their journey of being an entrepreneur, or as they're pivoting and trying to move up in being an entrepreneur? What advice can you give us, having been in it for as long as you've been in it? And if I may, what were you doing before 2018? What was keeping you busy?
So I've been in the restaurant business since I ever can remember. So my first job was a dishwasher. My brother was managing a restaurant bar in Bountiful, and he told me, "Hey, I'll pay you cash and come help me out wash dishes," because he didn't want to wash dishes. So that was my first job, and I liked making money. So I started working on the weekends, and I've been in the restaurant industry since I can remember. My brother, my sisters would all work in that industry. My dad. But before we came to the U.S. in '94, and I can remember my parents trying to open up the little senaduria, or selling things in this small type restaurant, street style, whatnot. But yeah, they would actually try to sell food all the time. So grew up here. Grew in the restaurant business. Then one of my sisters bought into a restaurant, and I was working there. Later on, 2 years later, 3 years, my other sister buys a franchise for a restaurant, and it's doing very good. And then
Mexican cuisine?
Yes. Then my brother opens up his own with his brother-in-law, and I see everybody making these moves, and like I like the lifestyle. I like that they have better cars and everything. I'm still going out of school, and I like it. Now by that time I'm managing. I'm married already. I'm managing. I'm like, I'm tired of this industry. I get out. I go into construction, hotels, everything. I did a little welding. I did a whole bunch of things, but I kind of missed it for a little bit. And when my wife was pregnant with our first boy, that's when my mentality changed, and I wanted something on my own. So, with that said, I try to. Well, me and my wife tried to open up a restaurant, and we didn't have enough money for it. So I tried to partner up with my brother, with my sister, with a friend. And for some reason, it didn't happen, the partnership. And I told my wife, well, we got to do some business of our own, but something that's not so expensive as a restaurant. You know how expensive a restaurant can get to open up. So we did that. We did a cleaning company. I was cleaning carpets. So we opened up a cleaning company and started really small. We grew it for about 1.5 2 years, and we already talked about it before we even started. We'll do this, and when we get an opportunity, we'll go into the restaurant industry again. So yeah, that happened. I had a carpet clean at Layton, and then I got the news that this taqueria was selling in Ogden. So I went after, and I'm like, this is it.
So you bought a taqueria, and you converted into Señor Pollo.
Yes.
Was it right out of the gate it was Señor Pollo, or did it kind of turn into that after you opened it?
No, so my father-in-law knew we were looking for a restaurant, but we were in the cleaning business at that time. And we weren't doing big numbers, but we were doing okay. Self-employment.
Did you sell the business?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he sent this taqueria. He saw it in KSL. And he saw it, and like, nah. I said, nah, suegro, I don't want to do tacos. And I was taking a shower, and like, I screamed at my wife, and like, hey, what if we do chicken?
Wait, who said that? Your
Me.
wife? Or you did?
Me,
okay, got it.
showering. And like, tomorrow I'll go see it. And as soon as I walked in.
Hold on. Let's elaborate. Your suegro, your father-in-law calls you and says, hey, I found this taqueria for sale.
Yeah.
He sees it in the paper?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're like, no, suegro, I don't want to do a taqueria. I don't want to do tacos. You're in the shower, and then...
And it hits me. I'll sell pollo estilo Sinaloa. And I tell my wife,
Had you ever thought of that concept before?
Yeah, because my brother had one already. Okay. So I basically copied him.
Okay. Still like an artist.
Yeah. And I just changed
hold on.
to my recipes.
So you say, what if we sell Sinaloan-style chicken? Well, your wife says what?
I'm like, sure. She's always been.
She's in.
Yeah.
Okay, so that moment you say, why don't we do this? Then when do you go to the taqueria? Tell me about that process.
So the next day I had a carpet cleaning in Layton, and after that I go 20 more minutes to Ogden, and it's right in the corner. As soon as I drove in, I'm like, this is it. I called the owner. I'm like, hey, I'm right outside. When can I see it? We can see it tomorrow. I'm not there today. It was already closed down. It wasn't operating. Yeah. And the next day, we made a deal. Like, I need this, this, and this. You can take this, this, and this. I'll give you so much money. And I really thought I was gonna open really quick. I didn't know
it takes that long. How long did it take you?
It took about 4 months to open, which is not long, but in my mind, I knew how to operate. I didn't know that I needed so many permits with the city, with fire, with everything. And my money was running low. Yeah. After buying equipment, after doing the little things in the back and everything, it goes quick. So I tell my wife by the end of January, I'm like, hey, we need to open, or we won't even have money to do anything. And like, I had a banner in front of the restaurant that said, I have my logo, and then it said coming soon. It was a black banner. And the coming soon was in white letters. So when we opened, I didn't even have money to buy a sign. I didn't want to spend that on a sign. I'd rather keep it for rent and utilities and product. So I went to Home Depot, black kind of paint spray, and I painted the letters black, so it looked like just a banner with my logo, and that was my sign.
Wow. How long was that your sign for?
It was for about 5 months.
Wow, that's cool.
Remember, I had the construction, so I didn't even want to spend no money.
Yeah, I hear you. When you bought the taqueria, did you buy the lease? Did you buy the real estate?
No, I leased it.
You bought the lease from the guy, from the gentleman.
Yes.
And then the equipment and all that stuff, you negotiated and everything. Yeah. Just for the viewers to understand, when you're beginning, how much cash outlay would you say that was to get store number one going?
It was about 40,000.
$40,000.
Yeah,
all
around
in
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
it's not bad. We look at numbers now and like that's nothing.
So nowadays, what's it costing to open up like a second generation store?
It depends, because a first generation store, like a 2,000 square foot, can go from 3 to 500,000.
Yeah.
So a second generation, if you're lucky and if you do good negotiations, you can invest 40 to 80 grand.
Yeah. Just sub 100. Yeah. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just looking for like a.
And I do recommend everybody try to get into a second gen first if you're starting, because it's a nightmare sometimes.
Do you have a certain second generation concept that you like chasing? Like, is there a certain food brand that's shutting down and then you can go in there and snag those?
It's hard to get a second generation, but any concept that has an open kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you don't have to do a lot of like tenant improvement, do you? When you're getting these second generations,
not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then drive-through. Do you have drive-through?
On one of them.
How does that do for you?
It's very good. It's still.
Do they call you and they're like, hey?
And they pick it up through drive-through.
I got it ready for you. Just come through the drive-through, bro. You don't even. That's cool.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Oh wow, that's cool. So completely different behavioral economics.
Yeah, very different than other chain companies. But I mean, I guess we'll grow into it.
Okay. How about the gringos? Like 20%, 80,
about 20%.
Wow.
20-25.
And what's their feedback of the flavor?
So at first they go in and they
have
try.
You guys ever eaten at Señor Pollo? You guys need to try it.
You guys are missing out. So at first they go in and try the traditional. They try the taco or the burrito or something like that, quesadilla. But I tell them, hey, try the chicken. You're going to love it. And they say, but chicken's not Mexican. I'm like, what do you mean? Just try it. Because a lot of people, like we won most authentic Mexican for the past 3 years.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, in the best of state. And I tell everybody, I try to educate everybody, because most people have been to Mexico, but they only been to tourist places in Mexico. There's 32 states in Mexico, and every state cooks completely different. You've been probably to a few states, and the food is very different.
Very different.
You go to Cancun, the food style's different than Cabo and all of that. But yeah, to have traditional Mexican and say I have the best and the most authentic, it's a lie, because you probably have something authentic from a certain region. But yeah, they say chicken is not Mexican. They try and they love it and they get hooked on it and they come back the next day and they become super regular customers. But yeah, the feedback from the white American customer, first it goes towards carne asada tacos, a carne asada burrito,
what they're used to,
what they're used to. But yeah, I encourage everybody to try the bone-in chicken, like a personal combo, or take a whole chicken combo to your family. It's a very kid-friendly chicken.
Why do you say that? Why kid-friendly?
I don't have kids meals, and parents walk in like, hey, your rice and your chicken, that's all my kid eats. I don't need no kids meals, because they love that chicken. It's not spicy at all. Everything that's spicy is on the side. So it's a kid-friendly atmosphere.
So now, thanks for sharing that. So now going back to the question I was asking you before I asked you to go from that, very beginning. And by the way, when did you come up with the name Señor Pollo?
When I went to look at the Ogden store, I remember Señor Frogs. So I thought maybe they'll remember, they'll kind of get it together. So
Wow.
Señor Pollo.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
no doubt. I
That
like
was
that.
it.
And that was you came up with it?
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so the advice you want to give.
Whatever you want to do in business, just do it as quick as possible. Don't think about it too much. Go for it, because like you and me, if we would change something, would be to do it sooner. That way you don't sacrifice a lot of your family, a lot of your time. But yeah, just go for it. What do you got to lose? Just
Love that.
yeah.
And now you sitting here looking back from, the moment you incepted, the moment you started, how do you feel? Do you feel like, yeah, this is awesome, or or are you feeling like, man, I haven't even started yet?
I feel like I'm just getting started.
Isn't that crazy though?
Yeah.
In 2018, did you think you'd be at the store count now, and with franchises and everything? Did you?
Well, yeah. I actually, since the first day, I really wanted to franchise. Yeah, I had the vision to franchise so I can scale quicker. And people would say, "Nah, you're crazy. You got to open 5, 6, and then start franchising."
Let me ask
they
you
won't
this
believe
though:
you.
the people giving you that advice, saying, "No, start with 5 or 6," were they doing it?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
But-
why would we listen to those people anyway?
Yep. But yeah, so I went at it, and so one of my employees, I told him, "Hey, if you help me out, I'll help you out." And I hooked him up with the first franchise, and then he bought a second one from me.
Wow.
So
That was employee number 1?
yeah.
And that
So
employee number 1 now has 2 stores that are his.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a life-changing opportunity.
Oh yeah, and I like to be grateful with life, with everybody I can. If you're good to me, I'll be good to you.
Yeah. Isn't it
Always.
crazy how that
Yeah.
works? Is some people think, oh, if I give, I'm going to be screwed, right?
Yeah.
It's the other way around. If you don't give, you're
Exactly.
going to be screwed, because it all comes back
Yeah.
tenfold.
Yep. That just trying to help out. It just gives you more.
Yeah.
In every aspect of your life.
Yeah. It's like, I love this quote that says, happiness is the hunger to give.
Mm-hmm.
Unhappiness is the hunger to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do you know anybody that's like super stoked in life, super happy, that just is like this?
Yeah.
No, you don't even want to hang around those people.
Yeah.
Like, there's just some mezquino, you don't want to hang around somebody like
You
that.
can feel it.
Yeah.
Just being around them.
Yeah, it's all about abundance.
Yeah.
Okay, let's end with this. So, the name of the show is obviously Live Life by Design. What do you strive for? What do you do to live your life more on your accord, where you're the owner of it, where you're the architect of your life, that has really worked for you, and just something that you'd like to share with the viewers as you're going through that question of living life by design?
Yeah, just live your life by design, because if you don't, I don't know, it's just living somebody else's dream is not, just doesn't cut it for me. So yeah, try to do that, and just lose the fear of doing things. Yeah, there's this one quote that I love that says, once you become fearless, life becomes limitless.
Wow.
That's probably my favorite quote.
Once
out
you
there.
become fearless, your life becomes limitless.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
It means if you're not fearful to do something, anything is possible.
With
Yeah.
that said, we'll close. But I first want to show. I don't know if you guys could hear me on that, but this was the gift I just got. Is this custom? Is this one of one or no? It is one of one, but it has my nickname on there.
Yes.
So I got this hat, the Señor Pollo logo, Live Life by Design, and then my nickname Papi on there. So much love, brother. Appreciate all you do, and congrats on all your success. This is
Thank
amazing.
you.
This is
Thank
just the
you.
beginning.
Yes, it is.
Much love.